Thinking about moving to Iowa? Maybe you've heard it's a hidden gem, or maybe you're just looking for a change of pace. Either way, before you pack your bags, you need to hear the real pros and cons of living in Iowa. Hi, my name's Andy Allgreen. I am a local realtor in central Iowa and a senior downsizing coach. And I help families navigate housing and lifestyle decisions across central Iowa. So from downsizing to retirement, to first-time home buying, to relocation, I get a lot of questions about what it's actually like to live here in Iowa. Today, we're digging into the good and the bad and everything in between. So we're going to start off with the pros of living in Iowa. First is the affordable cost of living. So Iowa's cost of living is generally one of the biggest draws that brings people to the state. The statewide cost of living index averages around 10% below the average. So obviously you have grocery bills, utilities, healthcare costs, transportation costs. All of those are typically more budget friendly when compared to other states. For example, the average monthly grocery bill for a family in Iowa is about $410, just on average, compared to the nation, which is around $475. And the median home price, I looked up the median home price for the last 365 days as of today, and it is for a three-bedroom, three-bathroom home that is 1,500 square feet. The median price was around $304,000. So you have gas price, utility costs, insurance premiums. When you look at those things, those are typically also lower, and those can contribute to a more meaningful monthly savings compared to out of state. If you're coming from the coast or a major city, typically your money's going to go a lot further here in Iowa, and that can mean owning a larger home, or just simply saving more and or having just less financial stress at the end of the day. Pro number 2 that I want to look at is safe and family-friendly communities. Crime rates in many Iowa cities and towns in central Iowa are well below the national average. So whether you're raising kids or looking for just a quieter place to settle down, central Iowa in Des Moines, typically the communities offer a sense of safety and security, which is typically harder to find in your larger city metros. So central Iowa in particular has definitely seen a revitalization in its neighborhoods and an overall increased walkability. I mean, I've personally walked almost everywhere in Des Moines, and during the daytime, I've felt completely safe. You know, whether you're going down Grand Avenue or through the East Village, or whether you're in the Drake neighborhood or in the Sherman Hill neighborhood, I've walked it all and definitely feel comfortable during the day. So there's also a strong culture of friendliness and community involvement that typically catches newcomers and people who move into Iowa by surprise in a good way. So whether you're in downtown Des Moines in an apartment or a condo, or you move to a suburb of Des Moines like Ankeny, or even a smaller town outside of Des Moines like Pella, people tend to look out for one another, which makes settling in feel a whole lot easier. Like our neighbors, we look out for our neighbors and we look out for each other here in Iowa. Number 3, I would say, is the excellent public education that we have here in Iowa. Iowa has long ranked above average for K through 12 education, and central Iowa is home to several of the state's strongest districts. School systems like Waukee, Johnston, Ankeny, and West Des Moines are especially well regarded as far when you look at the school district. Districts offer high graduation rates, strong college placements, and a variety of extra curricular activities that they offer. Waukee, for example, also is the fastest growing school district in the state, and it's known for its innovation programs and new facilities that they're currently building. So when you look at Ankeny and Johnston as well, both of those regularly exceed state testing benchmarks and maintain low student to teacher ratios. So if you're living in or around Des Moines, you definitely will find plenty of education options that combine strong academics with a family-friendly environment and atmosphere. The fourth pro that I would say about Iowa and living in Iowa is the scenic beauty and the outdoor recreation. Iowa may not have, the mountains or the beaches, but it does offer beautiful rolling hills, rivers, bike trails, and a lot of state parks throughout Iowa. Central Iowa in particular has an impressive mix of nature and recreation opportunities. In and around Des Moines, you'll find the Grays Lake Park and Easter Lake, which both offer paved trails, water access, and native prairie landscapes. So very cool opportunities in central Des Moines. You also have the Des Moines Riverwalk and the Principal Riverwalk downtown, and those connect key parts of the city through scenic pedestrian paths. We also have the High Trestle Trail. Which is one of the most iconic bike trails in the Midwest. And it starts just northwest of the metro and extends more than 25 miles. So it's a very impressive trail that can be obviously walked or biked. For hiking and outdoor events, you can look to Jester Park and Saylorville Lake, which are both just local favorites here in Des Moines. Whether you're, a biker, a runner, you like to kayak, or, just enjoy a nice walk, Central Iowa makes it easy to stay active and connected with nature, even if you live right in the heart of the city. These trails and other items are not far, and they're super easy to get to. The fifth pro I want to touch on is the overall community events and the overall growing culture scene that we have here in Iowa. From the Iowa State Fair to the farmers markets, we always have local festivities and things that are going on throughout the spring, typically more so throughout the spring and the summer. There's definitely not a shortage of things to do, in my opinion. You definitely have to go out and seek it, but there's definitely not a shortage of things to do. So the Des Moines Metro has been investing a lot in the arts, music, and culture for the past couple decades, and you can definitely tell there are a lot of breweries, restaurants, theaters, and public art displays. For example, the historic East Village hosts multiple seasonal markets and events, and the sculpture park that is downtown, the Papa John's Sculpture Park that is downtown, is a popular destination year-round. And that's in central Iowa, right in the heart of downtown. Then you have the Des Moines Civic Center, which brings in Broadway tours and national acts. And we also have the Hoyt Sherman Place in Woolies, which offer a steady lineup of concerts and just different comedy shows. Foodies can enjoy events like the World Food and Music Festival, while beer lovers have access to dozens of local breweries such as Confluence, Big Grove, and Lua Brewing. Those are just to name a few. There's a lot more in central Iowa and spread throughout Iowa. Every Saturday from spring through the fall, downtown Des Moines, we have the downtown farmers market, which draws in thousands of local visitors and offers live music, food vendors, and just local goods that you can come and buy. And it's definitely an awesome event and something to experience for sure. We even have smaller towns around the metro like Indianola, Winterset, Adel, suburbs, just smaller towns spread throughout central Iowa, and they host their own seasonal parades, art walks, summer fairs, things like that. We always have a lot of county fairs going on as well. So whether you're into, art, music, food, community connection, nature, central Iowa offers more variety than people typically often expect when you look at Iowa. So next we can look at the cons of what it actually looks like to live in Iowa. So the first one that I want to talk about are the challenging winters and sometimes the summers, but typically our winters are definitely more challenging. So weather definitely is one of the biggest complaints from residents that I hear, even from myself. And winters are, they're long, they're cold, and they're snowy. Snowfall can average, just depends on the year, but anywhere from 30 to 40 inches annually. And temperatures definitely get below freezing. We have, with the snow, you obviously sometimes will have ice, which creates icy roads and more safety concerns, and it definitely overall just limits your outdoor activity and what you can do outside. And just to quickly touch on the summer typically is very beautiful, but it does sometimes bring in high humidity and stretches of 90 to, it definitely gets in the hundreds sometimes, but normally around 90-degree days, and humidity can get up there, so it definitely gets warm and humid, which can cause severe weather like thunderstorms and tornadoes, which is just part of the season. So if you're someone who thrives in year-round mild climate, I would say Iowa is not going to be your jam there. So Iowa's climate would be a little bit of an adjustment if you're used to a more mild year-round weather. Number two, I would say it does have limited public transportation, not necessarily downtown, but as you spread out into more of the suburbs. So outside of a few metro areas like Des Moines, just the overall public transportation in Iowa is minimal. So the city of Des Moines has a bus system. Routes are limited and primarily serve weekday commuters. Most Iowa towns and suburbs don't have transport options. Unless you're an older adult, you can get assistance that way through some different types of programs. But typically, if you're younger and you're moving here, public transportation isn't normally a great option if you're not directly in the city of Des Moines. Having a personal vehicle is almost a requirement for daily life if you're living in Iowa. And obviously, that's going to add in costs for gas, maintenance, and insurance on your car. So definitely would affect that. The affordability side of it if you don't have a car or whatever that looks like and you would need to buy one. Number three could be the job market and the overall job industry in Iowa. While Iowa's unemployment rate tends to stay below the national average, the availability of jobs heavily depends on your profession and location. In central Des Moines specifically, the overall economy is typically driven by a few strong sectors like insurance, finance, banking, and healthcare. You're going to see that your major employees include Principal Financial Group, Nationwide, Wells Fargo, and Mercy One, and a couple other hospitals that are located downtown. I would say while there are opportunities in fields like technology or creative services or media, I would say they're smaller, but they're growing. But I would still say they're limited when you look at the overall just comparison to those other industries that I listed before. Many professionals in those areas choose to work remotely or commute to niche jobs in nearby metros. Wages in Iowa are generally lower than in coastal cities, though when you look at that, your overall cost of living is also going to be lower. So almost outweighs it there, if that makes sense. For most people moving to the area, it's important to research industry-specific opportunities in advance to ensure there would be a good fit for you. So going into the fourth con, I would say is if you're not used to it, the allergies and the seasonal air quality sometimes isn't the best. Kind of going back to weather, while Iowa's natural beauty is definitely a perk, there is a con to that, and it comes with a high pollen count, which happens to fall in the spring and in the fall, and that can cause seasonal allergies for some people. Central Iowa experiences large spikes in ragweed and tree pollen, which can sometimes aggravate asthma and respiratory issues for some people. So typically your air quality is generally good, but during those peak allergy seasons when field dust is high, especially during harvest season, sensitive individuals who have allergies may struggle. It's a small but important lifestyle factor to consider, in my opinion, especially if clean air and low allergen exposure are priorities for you or your family's health. So that's just something to consider. So, should you move to Iowa? If you're looking for affordability, safety, and strong community values, Iowa might just be the place for you. But like anywhere, it's not going to be perfect. The key is understanding how the lifestyle of Iowa fits within your goals and within your needs. If you're exploring a move to Iowa or just have a few questions about what it's exactly like to live here, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always happy to share what I know, whether you're moving across country, or just across town. So happy to help. My name's Andy Allgreen. My information is down below. Feel free to click the link to schedule a one-on-one call with me, and I'd be happy to chat.